And you're listening to 91.3 FM WCUW in Worcester, Massachusetts, the Dr. Chris Radio of Horror program. And tonight on Radio of Horror, I introduce a new co-host to Radio of Horror here at the WCUW. Here at WCUW, this is Wednesday from Canada over Skype.
Hi.
Wednesday will be joining me through the next several horror shows coming up into the end of tomorrow as we discuss all things horror, interviewing with guests, and talking about whatever's happening in the world of horror, science fiction, and fantasy.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get started. Thanks for having me on the show.
One of the first things that Wednesday and I did was to kick off a new partnership, was to watch something that we could both get into from the ground up, and they happen to be The Exorcist and Van Helsing on Sci-Fi Channel and Fox.
Van Helsing was bad.
Van Helsing was supposed to be connected to the 2004 Hugh Jackman movie. I don't see that connection at all in any way, shape, or form.
No, not at all. Oh my god.
Van Helsing is about it takes place 3 years into the future. It's not like years and like 100 years in the future or something like that. But Mount St. Helena has erupted, I guess, in Seattle, Washington, and there's ash over everything, and the vampires have taken over because the sun has been blocked out by the ash in the air. And the only person who can stop them is this vampire hunter named Van Helsing, who we don't even get heard that last name from her, really. We get her first name is Vanessa, and we get this cool-looking poster where she bites back and her eyes glow, and she's got the shotgun and the vampire skull's on fire. Did you see the poster?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But there was nothing in this to really say that there was nothing in the 2 episodes that reminisces what I'm looking at in this poster.
Yeah, no, I noticed that too, actually.
What were some of the biggest problems that you had with it?
I don't even know. I had so many problems with it. I think it was just made very badly, and like this storyline, I don't know. All of it, to be honest. I am not a fan. Just all of it.
I didn't understand. I thought it was kind of odd that we're opening up with the title character lying on her back in a coma in a hospital.
Yeah.
Very Snow White-like, because she's covered in like this white hospital gear. Then in the second episode, they get into the reason why she's there, and she's like this mother, and there's like the dad's kind of a deadbeat, and she's got crappy neighbors, and I'm like, this is our vampire hunter? Domestic?
She's got a rough life.
Yeah, domestic house mom, kick-ass chick who sticks up for her neighbors. Kind of lame. Not really all that interesting. Kind of a plot line we've seen on any drama show.
Yeah, right?
She's got superpowers, I guess, because every time a vampire bites her, they vomit up blood.
Well, I mean, she's got that going for her.
I mean, she's pretty to look at, but that's also not something we should hang the show on. On top of the fact, she's not British either. Isn't Van Helsing supposed to be British?
I think so.
There was nothing overly interesting about this at all. It was interesting to see, like, there was a vampire in a cage locked up, and then in the second episode you find out that that's the doctor who discovered that she's some type of superhero. Kelly Overton played the vampire. A lot of these characters who I thought were going to get killed off are like in 13 episodes, like the doctor, the doc. The vampire doc who's chained up in the room. But she was on True Blood. She played Ricky Taylor.
Oh, okay.
Which character was that? Do you know?
No.
Not a True Blood fan?
No, not really. I tried to get into it a while ago, and it just wasn't for me. That's probably also because my friend got me started in, like, the middle of a season, so I didn't know what was going on or who anybody was. It was a train wreck.
She's in Tekken, the movie based on the video game. and she's like flying through the air doing high kicks against a woman wearing a pleather bikini with pants.
Oh.
I did not remember the movie Tekken at all, so I have no real comment on it.
I've never seen it, so I also
Also have no real comment on it.
It's a video game series for the PlayStation. Oh, okay, I know who she was. She's like, oh, she was like one of the werewolves on True Blood. Now I know who she was. She was Alcide's old girlfriend, who was Alcide was the werewolf character on the show, played by Joe Manganiello. He was Magic Mike.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and now he's going to be Deathstroke, Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke the Terminator, in the upcoming Ben Affleck solo Batman movie.
That is awesome.
That character's been in Arrow and several for a couple times. Of course, he was on the old Teen Titans cartoon as Slade.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't been able to really get into Arrow, but the old Teen Titans cartoon is awesome.
The best character on that was Raven.
Yes.
Her story arc in season 4 is unbelievably great with her father, the demon Trigon. And then they just did a Justice League versus Teen Titans movie where the Justice League are no, Raven is the cause of like all this crap happening, and they want to take her from the Teen Titans.
Oh, really?
John Bethanol plays the voice of Trigon.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to watch it later.
The Teen Titans are led by Starfire and Nightwing, or Nightwing's kind of doing his own thing, but he leaves. But he convinces Batman that maybe Damian, his son, Damian Wayne, should join the Teen Titans, and it'll help discipline him.
Oh, okay. Oh,
What was the other show? What was the other show that we watched that we actually enjoyed?
Exorcist.
And The Exorcist on Fox was actually a much better show. It's kind of like a slow trek to getting to their overall plot of whatever they're gonna. I'm assuming it's to exorcise that teenage girl,
Yeah.
played by Hannah Casaluca, the Rance family, I guess it is, and the mom is Gina Davis, who I haven't seen in anything in years. Not since Commander in Chief, where she was the president of the United States.
Oh.
She was God, I mean, I just can't remember the last time I saw Gina Davis in anything other than like that Samuel L. Jackson movie, Long Kiss Goodnight, where she's the assassin who loses her memory and gains it back.
Yeah, she hasn't really been in that much.
No. I mean, she was like the big heartthrob of the 80s. I think Cutthroat Island was the movie that like destroyed her career. It was a terrible, terrible pirate movie.
Yeah, that's true.
But a lot of people remember her from like Beetlejuice and The Fly. But
she was in Stuart Little, apparently.
Say that again?
She was in Stuart Little, apparently.
Oh boy.
I know.
Oh, she was in Thelma and Louise. That's the other thing, probably a lot. Oh, League of Her Own. League of Her Own, Thelma and Louise. Late 80s, early 90s stuff is what she's really fondly remembered for. But this is not the Gina Davis show, and she's only done two horror things, Beetlejuice and The Fly, which we could talk about around Halloween. Father Thomas, who's got like a congregation of absolute nobody, finds out there's possibly something strange going on with this girl. And did you notice that when he was on the internet looking up the stories of The Exorcist, what one of the news articles was that flashed across his screen?
Oh, was it in reference to the first movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that, but
2 priests killed in Georgetown during Exorcist. I had to like wait. Did I? And it just flashed off. I was like, wait, rewind. Oh, it's in the same universe. That's awesome. So that's kind of cool. I wonder if they would have Linda Blair. As much as I hate her as a person because she's not great to her fans, if they would ever have her like make a cameo on the show, being like, "Oh, I experienced this when I was a little girl."
that would be really cool.
Right after this came out, a bunch of video clips started popping up, and it was getting like reviewed by horror people for the The Triple Exorcist, which I couldn't believe there was actually a movie of. I was like, what the F is this? Burning Angel Productions, who I've had a couple of their actresses on the show for horror movie parody adult films. Apparently they did one as well. Yeah. From the clips that they were allowed to show in the trailer for YouTube, it's pretty bad.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch the YouTube clips now because I am curious.
It's a 45-minute movie. You could probably do it in a sitting, you know? It shows like just green stuff everywhere.
Oh, yum.
Yeah. The priest is like, God forgive me, and he starts like undressing in the clip, and she's just like, fuck me, and then while he's like passed out or whatever, then the mom comes in and he like grabs her mom and makes out with her, and I'm just like, what the hell?
Whoa, why?
Yeah, I guess they have a whole division when they take horror movies and do like pretty accurate to the source material, but still overly ridiculous parody plot line of horror movie adult films. Because they also have the Reanimator.
Oh my god.
Which, if you've ever seen Reanimator, that one scene at the end with Barbara Crampton is, kind of straight out of an adult film.
Well, you know what? They gotta do what they gotta do.
There have been like multiple Exorcist-style movies. The Exorcist of Molly Rose or something. The Exorcist of Emily.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Exorcist of Emily Rose. The Exorcist of Molly Ring something. I want to say Molly Ringwald, but that's the woman from Saturday Night Live.
No. Yeah, that's like 16 Candles.
Oh, is that 16 Candles? Okay, all right. I had it all wrong. But there have been like multiple exorcism style movies out over the last several years. The Devil in Me, The Devil Inside are kind of exorcism movies.
Yeah, kinda.
I thought Excision was an exorcist movie, but that's like a whole other type of film that's completely screwed up. A disturbed, delusional high school student with aspirations of a career in medicine goes to extremes to earn the approval of her controlling mother. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't. Is it worth watching?
I've heard this is like right up there with American Mary for like if you love heavy like
American Mary was awesome.
The Woman, The Loved Ones, Starry Eyes, American Mary, May, Excision. Some reason Dead Girl's roped into that category as well. I'm not entirely sure why, because Dead Girl is kind of a really screwed up movie on a whole other level.
Oh God.
Have you seen Dead Girl?
No.
Dead Girl is about two guys who find two, like, they're kind of high school losers. They find a girl in the basement of an old factory, and she's like a zombie, and they decide to keep her tied up down there for their own personal, like, sex toy.
Ah, why?
Yeah, and so they go down there to, like, continuously, like, fuck her. And
fuck anything. Oh my God.
yeah, and they cut open new holes in her to do it, and they allow like guys to come down and pay to have sex with the zombie. And she doesn't like this, because being a zombie, she's still kind of cognitive of this whole thing. And one of the two guys doesn't. He kind of like lets his friend, because he's got no other friends. It's like the only friend he has. And then he gets a girlfriend, and I don't want to ruin it for you, but if it's like you want to watch one of the most really messed up movies ever, like do it when you're either really drunk or really high, and then
Okay.
I
will.
This movie is just kind of out there. But a lot of people say the same thing about American Mary.
American Mary, actually didn't find it was like that bad though.
No,
like, it's a great movie, but I didn't find it like that messed up.
And did you ever listen to it with the commentary?
No.
Oh, totally listen to it with the commentary with Catherine Isabel and the Soska sisters, who do Elevator, the reality TV series where you win money to get out of like Saw-style traps. They talk about how they wanted to do the rape scene from her point of view, so it looked very beautiful. Before you guys came in, we were talking about American Mary. You ever seen that?
No.
Oh my God, you guys should see American Mary. It's seriously one of the best horror movies of the last like 5 years. So I was
gonna say, I think that was on my list and it fell off my radar.
Oh, you got to watch it. It's directed by the Soska sisters. No,
I'm
you
almost
kind of look like
embarrassed.
them. They're Canadian horror film directors. Which Wednesday? Hey, right there, Canadian horror. That's all for you.
I'm a vintage horror kind of person myself.
She is a college student, played by Catherine Isabel, from like Ginger Snaps and
yes.
tons of other things Catherine Isabel has done.
And porn.
Huh?
And porn. Catherine Isabel. Didn't she do porn?
No,
No, she didn't. Isn't she the redhead?
she is
I thought
sometimes,
I
but
thought she did porn.
Catherine Isabel.
Yeah, I thought. Oh, okay. Well,
I would love to see that, but I don't think so.
Only
I mean,
inside your mind.
she's highly attractive, but I don't know. I must have
Yeah, no.
mixed her up with somebody else, I guess.
Anyway, so she's this college student who's like cannot pay for her classes anymore, and she's just like, I am so broken, I can't find a job, and she starts doing like unethical surgeries for people who are willing to pay for them because she knows like how to do all that stuff.
Oh yes, okay.
And
I remember the premise now.
she like gets into the seedy underworld of body modification, surgeries, beauty, and things like that.
Yes.
Like she meets these like two like they're like twin Japanese girls who are like, we've been into everything together, including each other, and we want to be forever with each other. They're like very incestuous or whatever, and she like sews them together so they can constantly be like one person and share
That's
themselves.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That definitely sounds right up my alley.
But she's also like getting like, you know, being like hired by like some bad people to like do regular revenge surgeries on people. Her professor kind of like date rapes her, and she like, you know, like gets the you know, like there's some people, you know, there's like this one guy, like a criminal she gets involved with, who was like, he's kind of criminal for, you know, drugs and theft, that you're kind of like, whatever, it's not really hurting anybody. And even he has a line of like, I don't really kill people, what you're doing is really crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for helping you get back at the guy who date raped you, but all these other people.
I don't know about this others.
Yeah. So, okay. Sorry, I got too distracted.
Oh, that's okay.
All
that
right.
totally brought back a movie that was probably on my list.
Definitely.
Forgot about. You would love them.
Oh my
I
God.
might be out of my depth here.
There's some gore, but
I haven't really been like a horror movie person most of my life. I'm definitely more like a literature kind of person than movie kind of person.
I think you would like those though, because specifically the goth element is really good.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, is that Ginger Snaps, because I love that movie, and it's a great conversation, and swear to God, you got to see it.
really do.
And here's the other good thing. Here's the other good thing. For anyone who doesn't know this, Ginger Snaps just came out on Blu-ray to Scream Factory too. So it's got like bonus material and the commentary and everything else. So it's not just like a bare bones kind of film. So if you want all that extra crap too, including like the makeup process,
which is the most interesting thing of horror movies, I think. I love horror movie makeup. I think
There
it's
you
really,
go.
really
And
interesting.
the makeup in this one for Ginger
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
have you seen Ginger Snaps Wednesday?
Yes, I have. So good.
Don't you agree that Ginger Snaps, in a lot of ways, you guys can comment too, that for you who've seen it, it is, what's the term? Is it allegory? When two things are similar, but they're not identifiably similar, but there are similarities between the two. What's the word called? We're all writers and we all suck.
Analogous?
I know, right?
Analogous?
Analogous?
Analogous.
Oh my God.
It's analogous, but I don't know how you actually say the word. Like,
Words are hard.
Analogous.
Word.
Analogous.
Okay.
I don't know.
So whatever that is, because we're all
Yes.
really smart.
I know, apparently.
Ginger
I know how to write the
Nobody
word.
read our book.
I don't know how to pronounce the word.
Wednesday, do you know what it is? Do you know what I'm talking
No,
about?
I have no idea. I'm so sorry.
Like an analogy. That's
Analogy.
the same word,
That's it.
right?
That's
So, yeah, it's analogous.
Oh,
but no,
okay.
the adjective form of that is
I don't think that
analogous.
word exists in Webster's dictionary.
It does.
So the analogy I'm trying to make is something I can't relate to, but Wednesday, Amber, and you can relate to: body horror in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Changes with your bodies in high school that you would have no control over. That is Ginger
Yeah.
Snaps.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It really is. And I also like the exploration of werewolfism as an STD. Is pretty great.
Yes. That's what I was trying.
I haven't really seen that in many things.
It took 15 minutes to get there, but yeah, I finally got there with my point that movie and girls in high school have so much in common.
It really does. And the two main characters,
especially because she's
also...
like hot and cold every 5 minutes. She's just like, ah, I'm just a fit of rage at you, and the next minute she's all like, fuck me.
and then on top of that, like just from the beginning, the two of them being total outcasts, I think that most high school girls can identify with that.
And one of them isn't a outcast. Like, they both dress basically the same way. Like, I'm going to wear hoodies and not dress sexy. And then next thing you know, Catherine Isabel starts like wearing like midriffs and, you know, short skirts and stuff like
Nev
that.
Campbell in The Craft.
Yeah.
When she gets her back
Which you
fixed.
just watched last night.
We just watched it last night.
Oh, wait, you never saw The Craft?
Oh, no. We just watched it again.
We decided
okay.
to have a spooky movie night last night. It was Halloween decorating day, so...
I saw that post on Facebook. I was like, oh. Fight me next time.
We watched Beetlejuice and The Craft to get us in the haunting mood.
Yeah.
I know. You know, old favorites.
It was fun.
What did you say, Wednesday?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but nobody I know in my life does that.
What, like decorates
decorates for Halloween. Let's throw in Beetlejuice and Hocus Pocus and The Craft.
Oh, we watched Hocus Pocus on Halloween.
Yeah.
I live in Salem. She lives like
In the next town over.
a hop, skip, and a jump from
Beverly?
Salem.
Lynn.
Oh, Lynn.
Lynn, City of Sin.
City of Sin.
She used to live in Salem though, and we usually spend
I want to
all
find
day...
a job in Salem just to move out there. I totally am in love with that
Yeah.
town.
It's great.
It's the best.
Your publishing company, when you guys start making it big and you start hiring, give me a call.
Everyone has
I
been
will.
telling her that.
Hey, my motto is climb to the top and bring everyone with you.
Yeah. But I remember last Halloween, and then we'll segue into your interview, the whole reason why you're here, and then we can all share a story, which is something nice because considering what the theme of the year is right now, because we are like 35 days away. So last Halloween, I was at what pressure?
I said no pressure.
No pressure.
She's in the middle of costume making.
Oh, okay. The other thing you guys can get to is what you're going to be. Last year on Halloween, I had a miserable falling out with a friend, which we more or less patched things up. But it happened on a Halloween, and it was like my Halloween sucked for the rest of the day. And I was waiting in Boston for a couple friends to show up to do Man Ray, the revival Man Ray that night.
Yeah.
And I know the people who do it, and I think they're going to do it again this year. So I'm really kind of hoping. I want to help you guys set this up.
I think I saw the event pop up, so I'm pretty sure.
And her name's Extine, and she ran the Gothic formal at the Castle at BU as well last year, which was awesome. And so I ended up helping her and her husband, because nobody else showed up, setting up Man Ray. It was like 3 to 4 hours, like decorating the place. It was a lot of fun. And then I went out and then grabbed some food, changed my costume, and then went back to the green room, just kind of hanging out, waiting for the bands to show up, the whole thing to start or whatever. And we, like, of course, all day they're showing horror movies on TNT and TBS and AMC or whatever. And we're like flipping back. There's like 2 TVs or whatever. We got both flipping back and forth between the 2 movies. And like the people in the bands, the people putting on their makeup, and the women getting changed, we're all just kind of sitting there watching the movies, barely paying attention. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we got to perform." But Chucky like 3's on, and Halloween 2's on this one.
Leprechaun
What was on the
4?
other? Yeah, it's like it's like nonstop, and we just kept like going back to the green room, flipping through. Oh boy, the new horror movies on. There's like this giant like rockin' party out on the dance floor. Who cares about that? We can have movies that we have probably sitting on our shelves at home to watch.
Yeah. I mean, we celebrate Halloween pretty much like mid-September through Halloween Day, and then by Halloween night, we're so exhausted that, I mean, we walk around downtown all day in costume and everything, and then we just go back home and we put on Hocus Pocus and throw popcorn at each other and stuff.
Wednesday, what did you do for Halloween last year?
I went to a friend's costume party, and yeah, that's about it.
I didn't really do too much, actually.
What were you for Halloween?
I actually wasn't anything for Halloween.
Shame.
I know.
Oh, they can hear you. Okay. Can you hear me through the...
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Maybe if I do that a little bit.
I know, the gasp.
What did you do on Halloween, Amber?
Well, Laurie and I were together because we're best buds. So I had this costume last year that I will be recycling again a couple of times this year that I had worked on for like 3 or 4 months. And it's skeletal mourning widow from the Civil War times. It's like if you took the mother from Crimson Peak and mixed her with the woman in black, you would kind of get this character. So I wandered around Salem dressed like that, not speaking, trying my best to...
On Halloween?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy, in Salem, that's rough.
I would loom up next to people and just wait for them to notice that I was standing there. It was pretty good. So I'm going to be doing that one again, and actually that character is going to be emceeing our event next Friday. At Black Veil Tattoo, we're doing our book launch event, and we're having a reading, and I'll be emceeing as that mute character, which makes no sense, but it's going to be spooky.
It should be fun.
What's the name of the tattoo place?
Black Veil Tattoo in Beverly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know them.
They actually specialize in, like,
Macabre
Gothic
tattoos,
and, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. We
creepy
all have
stuff.
tattoos. Do you have
Yeah.
tattoos? And you have tattoos. And Wednesday has...
I'm
so you-
actually in the middle of a sleeve.
Oh, but I just thought, just noticed that, because you have them in your arms, I saw them in your chest, and
I have
Wednesday
some.
has them all sorts of places, and I have them all over my arms as well. So.
We're all tatted up.
Yes.
Well, I can highly recommend those boys.
Yeah,
They
they're
specialize
pretty
in
amazing.
horror. They've done quite a few horror-themed tattoos that are...
I wonder if they would want to do a sponsorship, because we're trying to find another tattoo gallery place to do a sponsor. We had one for like 6 years doing this for this show.
And maybe, I mean, they're kind of far away, but they might.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
they
very
are.
open to stuff like that.
They've definitely had a really big streak here lately. They're on Ink Masters this season.
Oh, wow.
So they've been really picking up some steam from
Yeah.
that. But they're amazing, highly recommended. They do good work, and they're good
It's like two brothers,
conversationalists.
right?
They're twins.
Yeah.
They're
Yes.
twins. Okay,
Yeah.
that's right. They've been at Rock and Chalk.
Yep.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
I think they may be back.
Last
I
time
don't
talked to
remember
them,
if
they
they're
said they were
going this year or
skipping it
not.
this year, but I don't know. I can ask. We can
know.
ask them on Friday.
But one twin did hers and one twin did mine.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I have a couple others on my back too.
Cool. I have a tattoo. I have my son's name, and then I have Transformer tattoos. This is like this.
Oh, my husband would enjoy that.
This picture of Unicron, and I have to explain what Unicron is. Like, this is the last role Orson Welles ever played before he died.
Oh wow.
I knew
Which-
that.
And I was like, Orson Welles also weighed like 300 pounds when he passed away, and it was not joke. It wasn't meant to be like a joke, but he played a planet that ate other planets.
I know.
Oh
Irony.
my god.
What a way to go out.
The irony.
Yeah, and then I have Edward Gorey and another Transformer tattoo from Beast Wars, and then my Castlevania tattoo.
Nice. My husband would also very much appreciate
The
that.
Castlevania thing, yeah, so would mine.
Big
Oh,
Castlevania.
there you go.
If we're showing off, I have to show mine because it's new and I'm really excited about it.
It's good that this is a radio show and everybody can see this.
I know.
Yeah, everyone can see the tattoos.
Right? Well, I'm doing a sleeve. It's Dance Macabre themed.
Okay.
But it's also based on Toile du Joie, which is like this old-fashioned wallpaper theme. So it has like repeating patterns with different scenes. So what I have is...
By the way, before you show your tattoos and explain them, introduce yourselves because we're 23 minutes in.
I know, right? Who are these people?
We just
You-
wandered into this.
This will be on YouTube and VidMe, and people will be like, what the fuck are they?
What are they even talking
They're talking
about?
for 20 minutes about body
Just-
horror with women and werewolves, and some and then two women join in on a third woman and a guy, and they're just whoa.
It's like a normal day. In our
Well, I was
lives,
going to
right?
say, if you want to see the tattoos, just go to Black Veil's Instagram.
Yeah.
Look for the swinging skeleton lady.
That did not come out the way I was intending to it for their husbands listening and Wednesday's boyfriend. No. Okay, so introduce yourselves before we show off our body art.
Yes. Okay, well, I am Amber Newberry. I am the founder and editor-in-chief of FunDead Publications.
I am Laurie Moran, and I'm an editor also at FunDead Publications.
Awesome. All right, back to tattoos.
Back to tattoos. Okay, so
Back to the important stuff.
I have...
What was that Wednesday?
Oh, I said back to the important stuff.
Back to the important stuff. Women, hot, gorgeous women who work in the horror industry writing horror stories with tattoos.
With skeletons all over their arms.
I don't see. Does anyone see a problem with this? Raise their hand.
No.
I can't see you, Wednesday. Is your hand raised?
No, it's not. Don't
Okay.
worry.
So I have a bunch of different scenes, but at the top here I have a guy playing the bone flute.
Oh, those are really new. I can see how red your arm is still.
Yeah,
the ones
it's-
on the bottom are
these
like
are from
2
this
days
week,
old,
actually.
yeah.
Oh my god, that's so freaking good.
We have a dancer, and then we have this young lady who is playing the guitar to a doe. And of course, you know, she's probably playing something like Fade to Black. I would imagine.
Here, we'll because we put this up on a slideshow for when we stick it on YouTube and VidMe. Eventually, we might do something at iTunes. I don't know how to like stick something to iTunes. I'm sure it's very easy. I just have not researched yet. Maybe I'll have Wednesday do it. That's why I hired her.
There you go. Right.
And I'll take care of the videos, and she can take care of iTunes. Wednesday wants to get into broadcasting herself.
Oh, cool.
So she's, using this show to her advantage as well to learn more about the radio and broadcasting industry.
Awesome.
Is this a long distance internship?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
What was that, Wednesday?
Oh, I just said basically, yeah.
Yeah. So here, let me take a picture of your arm.
Okay. What I was going to show you is that this bottom lady, if you remember Pete and Pete.
Well, that's perfect. Oh, yeah.
So he had Petunia, his tattoo lady that he could make dance on.
Yes.
And we were commenting that she wanted
Lady
Petunia.
on a swing.
Oh.
Actually,
So that's
sings.
her Petunia.
Okay, all right.
And then I have more coming eventually, but I have to take a little break because, ouch.
Yeah, no, I can only stand somebody jabbing me in the arm with a needle so many times, too.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I was trying to explain to a woman who didn't understand why I had tattoos. I don't remember what the event was and why the conversation came up, but I don't think she was trying to pick on me. She doesn't have them, and she's much older, and it's not her thing. That's fine, but she wants to understand. And I was like, do you enjoy it? I was like, you know what? I think on some level you have to be a masochist to enjoy tattoos because you're being jabbed in the arm with a sharp object over and over again.
An awesome adrenaline rush from being tattooed.
Everyone does!
I'm like running around the house afterwards. Like,
Not me. Not after this last
Because your blood is pumping to recuperate the blood loss.
So I
so
actually
much.
kind of do
Exhausted.
enjoy it.
By the end of this last one, I was like involuntarily twitching because it hurt so bad. It was like 6 hours under the needle.
I try to like read something and that's impossible, whatever.
No.
And like my tattoo artist was like, go to another place in your mind. I'm like, what are you gonna do to me? Is this a prison assault?
As they pull on the gloves and let it snap.
Oh.
Oh, boy.
What are your tattoos of Wednesday?
I have a Death Star tattoo.
Nice.
I actually almost fell asleep when I was getting that one because I was really tired. I have a Triceratops on my thigh.
Amazing.
I have a Brontosaurus. I have Smaug from the Hobbit book cover.
Amazing.
They're completely envious of you now.
Wednesday, can you be my best friend now?
Hey!
Yes, absolutely.
Seriously, she's naming off all this nerdy stuff.
Out in the corner.
I also have a Gandalf quote in Elvish on me as well. So
I think I figured out what your picture thing should be because we were trying to figure out we didn't have a picture of her, trying to avoid like trolls and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You should have a picture of your Dexter tattoo and we'll use that.
Amazing.
okay.
Yeah, there you go.
God, I love that show.
Yeah, except for how it ended.
Yeah, I know. It was so disappointing. Probably one of the most disappointing
You think-
endings to anything.
They should have ended it with like season 5.
I agree.
Because
Yeah.
at the end of season 5, during Harrison's like birthday, it's this very like, made peace with my wife, and the kids are good with me now again, and Deborah's happy, and Harrison's alive, and I saved that girl, what's her name from 10 Things I Hate About You.
I was reasonably satisfied
Lunan?
at that point.
What? Who was her?
Lunan or Lunan or something?
Lumen.
Lumen, that's right.
Lunan, there we go.
And I also thought that entire story, I mean, everyone loves Trinity, and I'm like, yes, he was a good actor, but that whole thing with the girls in the barrel, that was really messed up.
Barrel girls, yeah.
The barrel terrible sex worker rape
Yeah,
victims.
that was pretty awful.
Oh, it just made my skin crawl.
I know, it was pretty terrible.
The villain was kind of douchey. He reminded me of Dick Roman from season 7 of Supernatural, the Leviathan villain. That was terrible. I'm the only one who watches Supernatural. I can
I
already
was
tell.
gonna say,
I have seen a few episodes.
I know
of
so
it.
many
I
people
haven't
who are
really
so
watched it.
into it, but I just haven't.
Yeah.
I
No,
just
we did
haven't
watch
yet.
like maybe the first half of the first season, or the first 2/3 of the first season. I was kind of into it. It wasn't terrible.
I'll get
It's
there
alright.
one of these days.
Did you guys watch? Did all three of you, Wednesday, you and you, watch the read the books?
No.
Of Dexter?
Dexter.
No, I do know some of the plot changes from them, but I didn't read all the books. No.
No, I read a graphic novel of it once, but that's about it.
The graphic novel, I think it's by Marvel. owned by
Yeah,
the
it
Disney
is.
Corporation. They followed the book a lot more. Like certain things, like one thing, Dexter does not look like the heartthrob that is played by what's his name?
Anthony Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael. No.
Michael
Anthony,
C. Hall.
Michael C. Hall. Anthony Michael Hall is from the.
Yeah. Oh yes.
He is from the dead. That's okay because I was talking with Wednesday before you came in, and I said The Exorcism of Molly Ringwald. Was that the name of the movie?
Yeah, I would watch that.
Oh, they should make that movie.
I know, right? If it's an 80s movie about an exorcism, Molly Ringwald, I like that. That's good. I'd watch that.
And this was right after I was talking about how much we actually liked the first episode of The Exorcist, which was really good.
I haven't watched it yet.
It's kind of a slow build, but it's really nice. I also brought up that the is it Dark Angel, Twisted Angel Productions, an adult film company that makes parodies. It has the Triple Exorcist. Worth checking out with you and your loved one, maybe. 4.5 barf bags out of 5.
4.5 barf bags. There's that extra half that on reserve for the next film.
Yeah. But back to Dexter. Now that we figured out who actually played him, he's supposed to be like in his 40s or so, or 50s, and he's not as like dreamy looking.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a little bit more average and stuff, and like Deborah knows, like at the end of the first story arc, what her brother does after he saves her life from the ice truck killer, and then the kids, he's like training the kids like his father trained him.
Right, that's the plot thing I knew about in the books.
And they wouldn't do that even on Showtime. Like you wouldn't do that even on Showtime. You do everything.
Well, maybe they were holding it off for a spinoff. Who knows?
Well, they got to bring him back and they got to revive it, whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, that's what they do these days.
And before we get to the book, what were your tattoos?
So I have a bunch of floral pieces.
Wow.
This is a hellebore, which is the first flower of spring. It blooms really early, and it's also...
Is this the right half of your chest? Left half?
This whole side.
Wow.
And then this is witch hazel and some echinacea, so I've got like the botanical thing going on, and there's a moth.
Yeah.
Down there.
Undressing in the studio happening.
Wait,
Whoa.
there's more.
horror stuff.
Wednesday, fly out here. You're missing something great.
This is
Oh, wow.
Beatrice, who is
And she's new.
my creepy Victorian lady.
Okay, that's the one I'll take a picture of. That's the one I'll take a picture of. I didn't want to take a picture of your chest because that would be kind of creepy.
So Ryan did her tattoos at Black Veil, and Matt did mine.
All right, hold that pose one quick sec. Awesome. All right.
That's it.
Yes.
Soon to be more.
That's great. When I'm not the only one having tattoos, then no one else can relate to my pain. Get it? Ha! Jokes! Okay, so neither Wednesday or I had our course read the book, so we're both on the same level of Shadows in Salem. So we'll let you discuss what it's about, and we will throw questions at you. But again, it'll be more like a conversation, less of a Q&A as writers and creative people. So we're not going to be like, so why did you write this? And when did this happen? So if you have like something like, oh, and then this like witch kidnapped me, and she like really tried to throw me in an oven as a little girl, but then she introduced me to the ways of witchcraft and other things that I don't want to discuss on the radio, but maybe I will, because now's the time to outpour. That's totally fine. Go off on a tangent about it. I've heard weirder stories. I shocked Wednesday when I said we had a dominatrix on, who the first thing she comes on the show and admits is that, so I'm into necrophilia, and my husband said when he dies at a young age, I'm totally allowed to like do what I need to do with his body.
Oh, that's nice of him.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true love right there, I think.
I think it is,
Donating
yeah.
your body to love.
Yeah, and she's doing a
Satisfying.
huge dinner party the week after Thanksgiving, the villains party, and you have to come in costume, and it cannot be the same costume 12 other people are dressed as. She doesn't want to see 12 Harley Quinns and Jokers. She says that there, I think I might not even let anyone be Harley Quinn because I'm tired of seeing that
I
costume.
know. It's going to be the thing this year.
Yeah.
Somebody can borrow my grill.
Oh, it must. Yeah, that's a costume. A t-shirt and booty shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Story.
you register your costume, and if as long as it's not been taken, you can do it. Cool. And then before that, there's a VIP dinner hosted by Hannibal Lecter, Ed Gein, Dexter Morgan, and I forgot the other one was, but they're all going to be like serving up different things of like alligator, deer, lamb, very innocent
That's
animal
amazing.
food. I'm like, this sounds great.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Alligator's so good. Oh my god.
Did they serve alligator really big in Canada?
Yeah, there's like a hotel down the street from my grandparents' house, and they're really big for alligator.
Wow. Did they make like an alligator burger?
No, it's just like the meat. It's weird, but it's good.
Is
It's
it
like
white?
chicken.
Does it taste like chicken?
No, it's like a cross between chicken and like
Fish.
swordfish.
Yeah.
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 What were you saying? What you've had it? You've had it?
Yeah.
Oh, you've had
in
it. Okay.
Louisiana. Yeah.
I had it in Florida.
And what did you think it tasted like Wednesday?
I definitely see the like swordfish in it, but kind of chickeny too.
Yeah.
I don't know. It tastes like alligator.
I mean, it's its own thing.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I had it on a pizza.
I had it fried like fried chicken.
It tastes like people. But that's supposed to be the whole point. It's supposed to be kind of like this, like very. And I like the fact that Hannibal Lecter is going to be serving up the deer. Because if you saw the show, you know. Did you guys see the show?
I know the scene you're talking about.
No.
I actually didn't keep up with it like I should have.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's sad it got canceled after 3 seasons.
I know. I hate when that happens. That's actually why I avoided it, because I just foresaw that it was not going to make it.
Okay, sorry. All right. Shadows in Salem, and we'll stop fanboying, girling out over our love of horror things. For anyone who knows the history, Salem, Massachusetts has more than a few stories to tell. Travel to the witch city within the pages of these collected short stories and know the captivating nature of one of the oldest towns in America. I almost said Massachusetts.
Well, I mean,
Pretty old
true.
there too.
Go ahead.
So Shadows in Salem, it's all short stories collected from writers across the country and all over the world. All the stories are set in Salem, Massachusetts, in varying time periods. I mean, we have stuff all the way back to the witch trials, and then stuff as modern as could have been yesterday. So what we wanted was...
What happened in Salem yesterday?
You have to read the book.
We
to
watched
find out.
Beetlejuice.
I know. God, I wish I had you guys on earlier. We could all hung out, been friends, and done that. I was at a lame party. I watched Van Helsing, and that sucked. Yeah, don't watch that.
Not my favorite.
No, the TV series.
Oh.
It sucks.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Not good.
No, I'm forcing Wednesday to watch it because she's the co-host. This is part of the pain.
Oh.
Yep.
I forgot what I was saying.
Collection of short stories.
All set in Salem.
Yep.
Are they real?
No,
They're fiction.
but they're based on some facts in some cases.
Yeah, some are based on fact, and we tried to keep it so there is a mix of things, so it's not all witch stories. There are some witch stories because it's Salem. But there are definitely stories that aren't. And Laurie and I both each have a story in there. Laurie's is actually the first story, and mine is the last story in the collection. And it's been out since the 6th, so we've got 3 weeks that it's been out on the market.
Oh, I thought it was coming out soon.
No,
we had advertised that it's coming out soon.
Just came out, but we have a book launch coming up. We haven't I guess launched it officially.
It hasn't had its grand opening yet.
Yeah.
It's open. Soft opening.
Soft opening, yes. Dirty.
Oh my! So much softer opening and leading up to a much hard.
Yeah, it's a harder horror opening.
Horror.
Opening.
It's such a weird
hoarder.
word.
How did that? Wait,
But
that didn't
yes,
work.
Harder horror.
an official launch.
Yeah, it's gonna be on Friday.
And that's what's happening at Black Veil Tattoo in Beverly. We're going to do an official launch and have a spooky story night. We're gonna
What day is that happening?
Friday night.
This coming Friday night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I know a friend in Beverly.
You should tell them to.
I'm actually on Facebook chat right now trying to get their attention. Be like, yo, what are you doing next Friday? It's happening in your town. Remember those guys that we met that you were in love with? You want them to do your tattoo? Guess what's happening?
Well, it's going to be a pretty amazing night. I mean, I think it's shaping up to be very spooky.
Yeah, I do.
And we
They
have
just
several
repainted
readers.
the shop for us just to
They
make it
did.
even spookier.
They made the shop even darker for us. So we have several readers who are featured in the book, and then we have a few local authors who are not actually in Shadows in Salem who are also going to be reading their horror stories as well. We also have a Bizarro horror reader. So I don't know.
Bizarro horror reader, so he reads like backwards like Superman's villain.
Yes.
Yeah, right. It's just
Me and Bizarro,
really strange,
let me read you
extreme.
story.
Yeah.
Down clenched, completely instructing your view.
Yeah, right?
Would that be great if you could get a guy?
If somebody could read that quickly backwards.
Oh my god, you
That'd
should
be
like
great.
go like post it like on Model Mayhem or New England film things, for independent film people to be like looking for Bizarro cosplayer. Must be able to do spot on reading at the
Backwards
drop of a hat.
Superman
Yes.
dialogue.
Yes. Yes.
Well, this guy doesn't write about Superman, but he does have a book called Big Boobenstein. And kind of in the vein of Frankenhooker.
Big Boobenstein.
Yeah.
Oh
You should
my
look
god.
it up. His name is Jeff O'Brien. He's awesome. Highly recommended.
We don't talk about boobs here on this show.
No?
Yes, we do.
Not even when
Well-
people in your studio are undressing.
These are replacement boobs.
I took a
Undead
vow
boobs.
of celibacy forced upon me by not having a girlfriend, so...
These are breasts of undeath. So.
Breast of Undeath sounds like the name of a fucking band, like a metal band.
Breasts of undeath. It's an all-female band, obviously.
Yeah, I'm going to totally put that together. I'm going to start putting the ad out there, looking for metal band members, Breast of the Undeath.
I like it. That would
Seriously,
work. I
how
would
does
go to
that-
a show for that.
How is that not a band?
Yeah.
Breast of
They
the
play
Undeath?
at Ralph's every couple of months.
I just filmed a movie at Ralph's on Friday.
Oh, really?
And then I found out today that I didn't finish it.
Aw.
It was part of a 48-hour, kind of like a 48-hour film challenge thing, but it's something else, not the 48-hour. You don't need like an entry fee kind of thing. And they just didn't finish it. She told me today. I was just like, well, I got paid, which was nice, but I was still kind of disappointed because I'm like, oh no, what happened? She's like, people had to leave, and then we lost the space, and we couldn't go into the place we needed tomorrow. I'm like, you gotta secure that location for that whole weekend. You can't like kind
Yeah,
of
just
be
in case,
body
yeah.
hopping.
They probably had shows.
They did. They did.
Like, we got to serve up them chili burgers. So.
Yeah, definitely. Wednesday, what did you say when we had mentioned Breast of the Undead?
I don't remember, but it definitely sounds like a metal band. Like a all-female metal band.
You set that up in Canada, okay?
Okay, I'll get right on that.
Where
I'll
in
put an
Canada
ad up
is
on
Wednesday?
Craigslist.
Yeah, definitely. Put it up on Craigslist.
Yeah.
Looking for bass player.
Eastern Canada, Western Canada, middle of Canada. I know she doesn't want to reveal her secrets.
Southwestern Ontario.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're gonna have her cover the horror in Canada of different things. So we'll put her on assignments. Like one thing I've been trying to do is like more like some graveyard tours, like go around like live Facebook or Twitter the graveyards. Whatever one I drive by and see, I know I haven't been there. I'm like, all right, time to take.
Well, we could have done that earlier today too.
I know,
'cause that's
this
what we did
morning.
before we came here.
Oh no, we should have
We
totally
did
hung out
two-
before this.
Like a
know.
formal cemeteries tour in Salem at Green Lawn with the Friends of Green Lawn Cemetery, and then we did our own little self tour at the rural. What's the one called over here?
Rural cemetery over by
Rural
Ralph's.
Cemetery.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna send Wednesday on one sometime, to like cover stuff in her town to be like cemetery walks and stuff. And I do them like I try to like introduce or at least have a sign of like what the cemetery is. But the cemetery is quiet to respect the dead, because then they won't rise up and try and eat you if they don't know you're
Right.
there. Yeah, but
There's actually a cemetery story in Shadows in Salem.
Yep.
Takes place on Halloween night. It's called
Oh.
The Thing in the Graveyard. And that's one of my favorite cemeteries, the one in Salem.
Yeah, on Charter Street. It's the oldest one it's the oldest one in Salem, and I think one of the oldest ones in the country too.
One of them, yeah.
Yeah.
do now you both have stories in here, right? Mm-hmm. Would you guys like your stories short enough or to read?
No.
No.
It's like a 20-minute plus
Yeah,
read.
each
on
of
Do you
them.
know
It's
a part of it you would like to read?
I mean,
question.
I don't know. That's a good
We were
question.
thinking about for the event on Friday about reading our own works for that, and decided both of us that it was
They're too
too long.
long-winded.
So,
Mine's half an
yeah.
hour and hers is like 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Wow.
So then I was trying to edit it down and try to just read part of it, but then, well, I guess in this case,
Well, why don't you guys read a page? Like maybe the first page is an introduction. Is there anything spooky in
I
it?
can
read-
do that
I
because
even have
she's
my own.
actually working up one of the stories for Friday. It's one of the other writers who's also local to Salem.
Oh, cool.
Who can't read that night. She's going to do his because it's a little shorter, but since she's been working it up, she might not stumble so much.
yeah,
on
I
the-
can read part of, so maybe not part of my own, but I can read part of Mike's.
Is there an event page on Facebook? 'Cause my friend lives in Beverly, wants to know if there's an event.
It's called Night Terrors. Shadows in Salem book launch.
Yeah.
In Salem book launch. Also, do you happen to have a PDF that we can send to Wednesday in Canada
Yeah.
for her to read on a digital device or anything?
Yeah, sure.
Do you have ability to read a digital book Wednesday? So Night Terror shows in Salem book launch.
Shadows in Salem book launch.
Yeah, and if he goes to the FunDead Facebook page, he'll find it.
Oh yeah,
Salem. Look at their Facebook page.
Under event.
I was told. Okay.
It has really cool art too. One of the
Oh yeah, I
guys
definitely
from the
see it. I
tattoo
want to get it done.
parlor.
Just, I live in Framingham,
I
and,
think there's a
and Beverly's a little
postcard.
far to go for a tattoo.
There's a postcard in there with our artwork for the
here it is.
flyer.
thing,
Yeah.
Awesome, cool.
Yeah. Ryan did
So it starts
that.
at 8:00, and then the show is at 8:30.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, sir.
I'm totally gonna go to this. I just want to make sure that my friend can go as well. So then I'll probably be there so late I'm gonna crash on the floor.
Well, we are providing popcorn and cider, so
Oh, there you go.
we're kicking off Halloween. You know, we want it to be very Halloweeny.
So should I read something from Mike's?
Oh, it's funny that on Saturday. I mean, you guys are probably busy, but I would send the invite at the home theater on the third floor of the house that I live on. If it's like 20 people, it's like a massive movie home theater. We're going to be doing a Luke Cage party. If you're a Marvel fan of the Netflix shows, yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. We did it for Daredevil seasons 1 and 2 and Jessica Jones.
I'm trying to think what's going on Saturday.
I'm working.
I know there's
and
something.
then the
I
food
just
truck
don't remember.
festival is.
Oh
in
yes,
Salem
that's
this
Oh my God, that sounds so awesome! I totally want to cancel my own event now.
And there's something else going on too. Oh, it's the first weekend of
and the Halloween dog parade.
right, and it's the first weekend of the haunted bazaar thing too.
Oh
I think.
yes,
That
the
doesn't sound that
Haunted
interesting to me.
Bazaar.
Yeah.
Halloween
And then Sunday,
dog parade.
there's the food truck again.
Again.
And then there's
Don't
something else.
insult the dog parade. Oh my goodness.
The dog parade's on Sunday, actually, not Saturday.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
I think you're right.
I don't. The best in show stuff doesn't grab my attention. I like dogs. Just
It'll be cute.
They're in costume.
I'm a girl.
whoa! Right, everyone gave up on me. But you know what's happening the following week in Salem? That's fucking awesome. The pumpkin thing.
The pumpkin thing?
Oh yes, the millions of pumpkins thing.
Yes, all over Salem at night.
Yes. Is
How
that gonna
cool
be
is
in
that?
Salem?
I think they're doing both.
Wednesday, can you fly out to Massachusetts for this?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, bring your boyfriend.
The weekend
I'd love to
after,
meet him
I
too.
think.
No, if I'm going to fly out for anything, it's obviously going to be the puppy parade.
Oh,
Yeah.
fine.
Oh well, the Halloween official kickoff parade is Thursday night.
Thursday night, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's like everybody comes out in their costumes and.
It's a nighttime parade, which is cool.
Yeah,
And
nice.
it's definitely like the Salem local. It's the one thing the locals always go to, whereas like the rest of Halloween becomes very touristy in Salem. But that's the locals event.
And you know what they're going to have? As we get closer to Halloween, more and more stuff happens. Count Orlok's Nightmare Gallery, run by my good friend James Lorgio.
Yeah.
know
He comes on the show every year. Such a great guy. He's going to have Victoria Price.
Yes.
Oh, we
There.
talked to him about that the other day.
Oh.
Actually.
He mentioned it to us while we were in his shop.
Oh, his shop is great.
Yeah.
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 That's pretty cool.
But yeah, for any of our listeners who's not familiar with that name, she is the daughter of the late great Vincent Price and the heiress to his empire.
His empire and his cookbook. The family cookbook, quote unquote.
to all of his egg-tastic. Get it? Because he was Eggman, Batman. Bad joke. Sorry.
Oh man, how exciting! Fun.
Excellent, Batman.
Oh.
Because that's what he would say when he's holding a stupid egg, and then he'd throw a carton of eggs on Burt Ward. Poor Adam West. He would never get carton of eggs thrown at him, but Burt Ward always got the egg.
Yeah. Sidekicks.
Yeah. All right, you were gonna read something awesome.
Yeah. Should I read something from mine? I can read a page from mine.
It's totally your choice.
All right.
You got to do it in the scariest voice you know.
Oh God. No.
Whoa! What was that?
Do it in
That was
the
a belch.
Oh, just
black metal growl.
No. That's not how I operate.
read it like if you were singing for the band "Breast of the Undead."
Not that kind of story.
It's really not.
And then it's and then the band all dresses up, kind of like that band Ghost, but it's all women wearing Catholic priest costumes and stuff like that. That'd be awesome. Really, just fuck you.
All right, so I'll read a little, a page from
Okay.
my story, which is the first one. in
We'll set the
Shadows
mood
of
with some
Salem.
candlelights. Turn down the.
If we do that, I might be able to do a page of mine.
Yeah, I'm just gonna read from kind of the middle of the
Yeah.
book, so you're not really gonna know what's going on, but just bear
That's
with
fine.
me.
No.
However
However you want
The
to do
story
it.
is called Noah's Dove. And I will start reading on like the third page of the story. So
Okay.
you're going to have to go and get the book yourself if you want to hear the rest of it.
Oh. Do you guys have this coming out as an audio either?
Not currently. We do have Kindle and Nook versions available right now, but as far as an audio book goes, I think maybe we'll see after the launch. We'll see how it goes.
I volunteer my services in the recording studio at WCUW.
Yeah.
All right. Ready, everybody?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
She sensed movement in her peripheral vision and turns toward it. Two figures are picking their way across the rocky, muddy stretch of beach exposed by the tide. Drunk college kids? The bar's closed hours ago. The larger figure in black grabbed the arm of the smaller figure in white as if to steady itself. She heard a female voice whisper, "No," echo across the water. The figure in black was forcibly guiding the white-clad one, a tight grip on her arm. She stumbled, and her accompanier began to pull her along. Shit, not okay, Jerusha muttered to herself. She slapped at her pockets looking for her phone. Empty. She'd left it at the house. She glanced over her shoulder, back up the street, and then looked again at the figures on the beach. She started running toward them. Jerusha followed the seawall to the side facing the wharf and slung a leg over. She clung to the top of the wall, dangling her legs, stretching them out straight, trying to bridge the distance to the bottom, and then let go, dropping the final few feet onto the slimy rocks below. She kept a hand on the wall to steady herself on the slick, uneven footing, and swiveled her head to scan the beach. The two figures were nowhere to be seen. Icy salt water soaked her moccasins and whipped up into her flannel pajamas. Ugh, what am I doing? I should just go back to the house and call the cops, she thought. She turned back to the wall. As a kid, she used to scale it daily, often with pockets bulging with sea glass and twisted pieces of bleached driftwood. It suddenly seemed so tall and foreboding in the moonlight. She reached for familiar hand and footholds, but found nothing but smooth stone with bits of wet seaweed clinging to it. She faced the beach again, scolding herself for being so impulsive. Cold and wet, and now I have to walk around the block to get home. She turned to walk up the beach toward Derby Street. The moon was behind her now, and her shadow cast a dark column across her path. The street was only a dozen yards away, but the warm glow of the streetlights melted into blackness before the water's edge. Jerusha could see the gold eagle perched atop the customs house, glinting in the moonlight. But when she looked down at her feet, she could only see misleading shadows, hiding loose rocks and slick seaweed. She began the careful chore of choosing her footfalls, gingerly putting a foot down to test the stability of her step. The bit of light on the beach ahead grew dim and then vanished. Cloud cover had crept over the moon. Jerusha stood for a moment to see if the wind would favor her and move the clouds along. She curled and released her toes, trying to warm her numb feet inside her soaked moccasins. The clouds refused to release their grip on the moon, and Jerusha resumed her snail's crawl across the beach. A few more carefully placed steps brought her within feet of the grassy patch before the street. Almost there, she thought. I can't wait to get home and take a hot bath. She took her next step more boldly, and the rock underfoot settled beneath her weight. Her foot slipped sideways off the rock. She threw her arms out to break the fall, and fell face down into the mud. Jerusha lay on the beach, waiting for her nerves to tell her what she had damaged in the fall. Her right shin ached and throbbed. She rolled over and touched a hand to the spot, wincing. There was a large tear in her pants, and she was sure she was bleeding. Her hands stung, full of little fissures. She brushed the palms together angrily, knocking sand and small rocks from the wounds. Fuck! 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 She shouted in frustration. The ground beneath her began to rumble, like a large truck was coming down the street. Maybe she could get the driver's attention. She crawled into the grass and pulled herself up onto her left leg. She looked for headlights coming down the street, but there was no movement at all. The rumbling grew louder. A flock of seagulls squawked overhead, spooked from their night's resting spot, and landed on the roof of the customs house. Jerusha turned to see what had disturbed the gulls, and realized the rumble was coming from something in the sea. She scanned the darkness looking for a large ship, but saw only a wall of black. The clouds unraveled from the moon, and Jerusha could see that the tide was still going out, much further than the normal low water mark. She could see fish-shaped shadows flopping around on the rocks that had been underwater only a moment before. She stared at them, confused. Her brain felt muddled and her leg throbbed. She could see clouds, a few stars, glints of the moon, but where she expected to find the horizon and specks of light from the houses across the harbor, only strange blackness. The rumble grew louder. There was a moving white edge to the blackness where it met the sky. She could see it, turning and foaming like the crest of a wave. Jerusha stared at it in horror. It was a wave. A giant wave. She turned and ran toward the street, dragging her injured leg along as fast as she could. The rumble was deafening.
Wow.
Thank you.
I'm so nervous. What happened?
I don't know.
I only read it like 5 times.
What did you think of that Wednesday?
I really liked it. It seems really intriguing.
The event is Night Terrors, September 30th, which is just so everyone knows, there's only 30 days in September. Some people ask, is there 31? I was like, no, because it's every other month. There's a longer month.
30 days has September, April, June, and November.
Oh, I remember that, yeah. An evening of macabre storytelling presented by the Black Veil Studio and FunDead Publications. So is this your first publication with FunDead Publications? Is this your company? What's the story behind FunDead? Because being dead is always fun.
It is.
It is.
Unless it was tragedy, and then you're just kind of like, oh no, people gotta mourn me now because I died tragically. Why couldn't I have died, like, happy?
I know, right?
Under my own free will. Which is like, isn't that suicide? Okay,
Yeah,
now
I
we're
was
going
just
on to
gonna
a
say.
whole other thing
Whole
with
nother
this.
tangent. That other story that you were going to read.
Yeah, the one
I
that
can't make fun of death in any way without sounding bad.
It's okay.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the title of the company is FunDead, so...
Okay, so here's the thing. Being dead is fun, dying is bad.
yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's what we learned from Beetlejuice.
They were having trouble being dead, too, for a little while.
That's
they figured
true.
It out. They
Yeah,
figured it out.
exactly.
I
They found their stride.
I wish I'd known that was one of the movies, because when I had let me start over. When I saw your repost or whatever, I went to go say, oh, who's this person? Oh, this is the woman who's coming on the show. And then I saw your thing about you're doing, we're watching movies. I was like, that's so cute. And I was like, oh, if I know one of them was Beetlejuice, I have the Beetlejuice vinyl. It's so great to listen
pretty
to.
amazing. Yeah.
And the topic of Beetlejuice 2 constantly comes up, and I'm like, no, never, and don't
We were
remake
talking
it.
about that last night.
Beetlejuice goes Hawaii, and he was supposed to, like, the Deets open up a vacational resort on Hawaii, and it's being haunted by the spirits of, like, the dead spirits who probably got slaughtered by the white man, and they don't know how to get rid of them, so they summon Beetlejuice to help them.
Of course.
So that would eliminate having to use, like, Gina Davis and
Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin
Yeah.
for any reason, because they're not relevant to the plot line, and they're also
Right.
trapped in that house. So
they can't go anywhere.
They can't go
For
anywhere.
125 years.
I wonder what happens if they just like take the house, put it up on a truck and like drive it. It couldn't be Hawaii because they couldn't drive it there, but they could drive it someplace.
That's a good
fun.
question.
That's
I
a
think
very
that's
good question.
It's a valid
Why don't you
question.
pitch that to Warner Brothers, and you and Kevin Smith can make that movie? Because
Can we bring them to like the California coast and make it like Weekend at Bernie's style Beetlejuice?
I had a great idea. For a sequel.
What?
But nobody would hire me to
Oh.
write that script. But my idea was that because they're trapped in the house for 125 years, the Dietzes all die, and then another family moves in.
They're gonna do it all over.
Oh. When I was at Granite State last week, there was a girl. I couldn't figure out what she was until it dawned on me she was Lydia from the Beetlejuice animated series.
Oh, we started watching
yes.
that last night too. That is so bad.
And my heart just, I literally felt like Jim Carrey with that scene with the mask, and he's just like, boom, 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 boom. My heart is like pounding out of my
Talking
chest.
About her great spider like poncho thing that
Yes.
she wears in that.
I have a
How
friend
awesome
who's
that is.
actually looking for one of those.
With her size -10 body.
Yeah, and her giant hair.
What did you say Wednesday?
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. Where was I going with this? Oh, so Beetlejuice is awesome.
We're talking about FunDead.
FunDead.
So, FunDead actually wasn't a publishing company originally. It was still called FunDead Publications, but the idea was that it was actually like a joke blog. And it was basically for undead people to write in with their problems, Dear Abby style.
Huh.
And then I would respond with a way to fix it, which...
So this is your first publication?
This is our first actual publication, and it started about a year ago. I decided I wanted to start publishing other people's work, and it's because I had self-published a novel myself.
Hard, huh?
It was tough.
Yeah,
but
tell me about it.
once I did it, everybody started coming to me for advice, and I was actually really enjoying
Nobody came to me for advice.
I was enjoying helping
suck.
other people out with their projects, and I was like, I mean, it would be great if, I would see all these people struggling to get published with their novels and everything, and I was like, it would be great if I could help them with that. And I was like, so why don't we haven't done any solo projects yet. So far, we've been focusing on the anthology thing, but
if it's a hit, you're going to start getting like manuscript.
Yeah, sure. We're already getting really good responses to. There are future planned anthologies already. I
just rounded out accepting submissions for our Christmas Chillers anthology.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah,
I'm
really excited about it. But
apparently, that title's sticking.
I was absolutely overwhelmed by the number of submissions to the point where I had hoped to have them selected like a month ago, and I just selected them. I mean, there were hundreds of them, and from all over the world. I have stories in this anthology from Israel.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
The stories had to be set in Salem.
Yes.
And they had to be fiction. Would you want to do like a follow-up that's not like fiction but still set in Salem, but like you start dragging up like people's like, and I'm not saying like domestic abuse horror stories, but like maybe some weird quirky stories that
I have
you can legitimize in some way that they believe what they're saying is true, whether or not the Green Man exists is true is irrelevant.
I think that could potentially happen in the future, but partially because I have a huge amount of interest in the true stories and like any potential unsolved murders in the area and stuff like that.
There's unsolved murders in Salem?
No, in Swampscott there is.
Oh, okay.
You know what? For 40 years.
I would love somebody to tell the story of who the fuck commercialized Salem.
Who the fuck commercialized?
You mean as far as the Halloween business is concerned?
I feel like that probably happened in the 70s.
Up until the 70s, nobody was like, oh God, we hung 17 women for nothing. Let's make T-shirts and hats.
So they had to sign the rights over to the witches stuff from Danvers. Because that's where it really happened. Because Salem Village, where the accused witches lived, is not actually Salem.
Because
it was an outlying
they split
town.
the land and it became different towns. So Salem was once much larger.
Yeah. So
was there a Salem back in the day when they hung the women, or the movie The Witch takes place, or any of that stuff?
Yeah. So Salem existed, and then Salem Village, which was like an outlying town settlement, also where it's like a separate thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the people
where the TV show happens.
Yeah. So
yeah.
They weren't.
You're not a fan, I can tell.
I tried.
I did too.
They were tried as witches in Salem, but they weren't from Salem. So there was some sort of like thing that apparently the city of Salem had to have the city of Danvers say, "Hey, we're not trying to try to commercialize on the witch thing. You guys can do it." Yeah. And I feel like that was the 70s or 80s. I don't know the exact thing, but it's gotten bigger every year. The city is really
so another because I mean, God, we only waited like 100 years to make Titanic movies,
That's true.
There are older things that were capitalized on the witch thing that were. So we were in the.
But there wasn't like somebody.
The Chamber of Commerce. That wasn't the Chamber of Commerce. Remember, we wandered into one of the little storefronts when we were out walking around, and they had like the Salem Witch collectible spoon thing from like the early 1900s, like 1890 something, like an advertisement from a Salem newspaper.
I would have loved if Lords of Salem, Rob Zombie's movie, which I wear the T-shirt, just in case you guys didn't notice. I wore this for you today.
We didn't notice. Thanks for pointing it out.
This was filmed, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know Lords of Salem, the outside exterior stuff was filmed in Salem, because you could see Rob and Sherry and other people from the movie. Ken Foree is the only one that comes. Meg Foster. She wasn't outside, so she was inside. Other people walking around Salem. And I was hoping that movie was going to be like the witches like come back. They found their town is overly commercialized, and they just start slaughtering people Rob Zombie style. And that was not what that movie was. That movie was like an acid trip of like you need drugs to understand.
It was wacky.
Yeah, or listen to Rob Zombie's commentary through the movie. It makes a little bit more sense.
I haven't. I might try that too.
It's the only bonus material he stuck on it for some reason. I don't know if that was his decision or studio's decision. I was involved with the studio at the time when the movie was coming out heavily for promotion and stuff like that. So I had a really good like relationship with Anchor Bay, which unfortunately once my contact left, that ended because they didn't want to do anything with anybody anymore really, unless you were like Dread Central or Fox News or something with a lot of subscribers. And I was like, why is this the only thing on there? And he's like, and they didn't like, they fought with Rob Zombie. This is the only thing they could agree with. So this is what they stuck on there. But listen to it with the commentary, and the whole movie makes a little bit more sense. I also recommend reading the book. There's an actual book based on his original script. The studio wouldn't let him film because it opens up with the Salem witches during the flashback scene taking a baby bashing its head against a rock, peeling the skin off the baby, and then wringing the baby out like a wet towel over their naked bodies, having a lesbian orgy.
That's a little excessive, I think.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Rob Zombie, you're a vegan or something.
Isn't that funny how there are so many vegans in horror?
Did you guys see 31?
No, I told you I'm a vintage horror kind of person. I'm really slow to catch up. Like, I saw The Witch months after it.
Oh, that's
released.
fine. The Witch is hit or miss depending on your taste.
I
I'm
know.
never gonna.
It's not really horror. It's like,
It's-
like a,
yeah,
a
exactly.
folk tale. They call it a New England folk tale or whatever.
It's definitely creepy.
It was good.
Did you see The Witch?
Enjoyed it.
Wednesday?
No.
No. It's a hit or miss.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it really
I
is.
feel like I'm not
But
like
I'm slow
traditional horror movie
to
buff.
watch.
I like things that people don't usually consider horror.
Like if you can find it like on YouTube, Amazon, Hulu, whatever. Wednesday, I recommend watching. Just like I've seen this. I have to do this horror show. I should watch this.
Yeah, if you want to think of it more less of a horror movie and more like a bedtime story for Puritan children.
Yeah,
Think
and
of
that
it
girl
way,
who plays the heroine. Not that there's much of a hero in that movie.
the eldest daughter.
The eldest daughter, she who is of wickedness and of like her bloomingness and like she must be of sinful stuff.
Obviously.
Yeah, I just love all the allegories they point out, the analogies they point out of like her turning into a woman. It's just nothing but sin.
Yeah, well, that's what they believe. That's the thing. That's why it's like a story for Puritan children because they truly believe those things.
That's ridiculous.
That like all the woman's beauty, their hair was sin. You couldn't show your elbows, and like
even though they back then breasts weren't only meant to be like for milk and not of
breasts
like
weren't a
sexual
sexual
consumption.
thing.
Yeah,
no, not at all. But yeah, when they take off in that movie, when they take off their coifs, the like hair covering thing, shit is going down. And I saw that. I used to do historical reenactments, like 17th century historical reenactments, and
cool.
I saw that, and I was like, motherfucker, watch out! Stuff's gonna happen.
She's a witch hunter.
Did they have witches in Canada?
I haven't heard any stories about witches in Canada, so it's possible, but
Look, awesome homework assignment for you.
yeah.
I mean, seriously, like think about a fun homework assignment to do for the show. You can find out like the lore of like witches in Canada because every country has their black, dark, good, white, whatever magic. They might not have been called witches and warlocks or whatever. But they were of the witch stuff.
That's true. Yeah.
Documentary.
Just like there are vampires in every walk of life too. So that'd be something cool for you to look up in Canada too.
It was the one about.
I mean, totally if you want to,
Yeah, no, I do want to. Actually, I'm kind of curious now.
And then you can write like a post about it on the WordPress blog too, which I think would be a lot of fun. Because I don't know a lot about that stuff, and having you like international about it would be totally good.
Yeah, we might as well utilize the fact that I'm in Canada.
Totally. Besides making you watch like every Canadian horror movie ever made, which is apparently a lot of good ones, like Cronenberg's from Canada.
I love Cronenberg.
Oh my god, have you?
Tusk.
Videodrome.
Tusk, yes. Oh, the whole Kevin Smith thing that he's doing, his new trilogy dedicated to his daughter, really, because his daughter's like, my daughter, look, amazing, put her in movies. Tusk and Yoga Hosers are both Canadian horror, and they're doing the third one. It's going to be a Moose but Jaws style.
Yeah. I haven't seen Yoga Hosers yet, actually, but I've been really wanting to.
I didn't have a chance to see it either. I really want to as well. It'll probably be something I buy as soon as it comes out because I own every Kevin Smith movie, including, yes, Red State and Tusk, only because Kevin Smith speaks to me. I mean, he's that guy. He's like, if you're listening to his podcast, he talks about like when they like he just directed an episode of Flash. He's going to be directing another one, but he mentions when the news broke that they're going to put the Shocker into a Spider-Man, the upcoming Disney Spider-Man movie. He was like, the Shocker? Herman, whatever his name is, the guy with the thing he was describing. I'm like, God, this is why I love Kevin Smith, because he totally does read these comics.
Yeah,
He's not just blowing it out of his
Do you
ass.
watch Comic Book Man? Have you ever seen his?
I try not to, but unfortunately I do.
It's good because you get to see him like as himself.
Yeah, but
that's cool.
the one person I
his
can't
staff.
stand on that show is Walt.
Yeah. Oh, see, I like Walt.
Oh,
He's kind of crotchety, but whatever.
He hates cosplayers.
Eh.
Yeah.
That's sad.
And a lot of women complain that he gives them kind of like the cold shoulder, like you're just here because Kevin put you on the show because you're hot kind of attitude.
That might be true. In some
Yeah.
Not all cases.
But I was gonna just before we go back to the book, Cronenberg. You guys seen Videodrome?
I just said Videodrome. It's one of my favorites.
Okay.
That and Dead Ringers.
What's your favorite Cronenberg movie?
I don't.
You need to leave.
Sorry, I'm over here as the
She's.
sidekick, kind of. You can just throw eggs at me. It's fine.
Okay.
I asked her to prepare her favorite horror movies, and she said, "Can I just rattle off my favorite Stephen King books?"
Yeah,
that's fine,
I'm
too.
not a horror movie person so much. But
That's
I
fine.
do
No,
enjoy
if you
horror as
read,
a
that's
genre, but not.
as long as you're into something in horror, it doesn't have to be movies. I always go back to movies because it's your fault. But I've had guests be like, "I don't watch movies. What about TV? I love Tales from the Crypt and Kolchak the Night Stalker and Tales from the Dark Side." And I was just like, with the chest heart again. Have you seen Videodrome Wednesday?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
It's so good.
it's so good.
What person am I?
And watch Dead Ringers.
Oh yeah, and she's from Canada, so she has no excuse.
Tell her to watch Dead Ringers.
Okay, watch Dead Ringers and watch Videodrome. Let me tell you, you should watch Videodrome with your boyfriend. I think the two of you.
She should watch Dead Ringers with her boyfriend. That one has some tools for working on women in it.
We are totally setting you up, by the way.
I can
She's
tell.
not going to be sleeping for a while.
I'm skeptical.
He's gonna look at her every time she looks at her with a midriff. He's gonna look at her belly button, and go, "There's gonna be a head that comes out of that thing. It's gonna try and kill me," or like her stomach's gonna open up. Ah!
Let alone watching it on TV.
Oh yeah.
the TV.
Yeah.
I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to ruin the
No.
film for
But
it.
if you like James Woods, it's a great movie to watch.
Yeah.
I will let you know it is freaky.
It is really weird. Really weird.
Okay, cool.
But I think you'll have a good time.
Yes. But see, that's my thing. Like I said, I'm more into the older, like vintage horror, 80s, 70s. I'm a big fan of Dario Argento.
Oh, cool.
So.
His last movie sucked.
Oh yeah, anything before the 90s is good. Anything after 1990 is bad.
Dracula 3D, anyone?
Really bad.
What the fuck was that?
Really.
I remember.
Really
I think I remember
bad.
that came out actually.
Really sad.
You know the guy who
It
played
sucks because he was brilliant in the 70s and 80s.
the guy who played Dracula in that movie played Van Helsing in the NBC canceled TV series Dracula, the one season show they did with John Rhys Meyers, which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah. I love John Rhys Meyers.
Do you know they would not pay him until he's completed everything because he has the habitualness of getting like drunk and passing out and like
Oh no!
yeah, he is a horrible alcoholic. It happened on the Tutors like
He was
twice.
amazing in the Tutors.
Yeah, well, there's apparently a lot of controversy when you work with him. It's like you're finished filming and then we pay you.
That makes me sad.
Yeah, but I thought Dracula, that NBC show, was like really good.
And then they canceled it.
And they canceled Constantine.
Oh, I liked Constantine a lot.
I know. Well, Warner Archives is gonna have it on Blu-ray and DVD, so you can print on demand it, which is like
Yeah, it was
finally.
really
And hopefully, if sales are good enough, maybe CW will pick it up and like renew it and do something with it because they will have
Yeah, and they've been doing a pretty good job with all these other.
Arrow, Flash, Legends, and now Supergirl, and Constantine was on Arrow. Yeah, and he'll be on Legends of Tomorrow. And Matt is going to play him in the upcoming Justice League animated movie, Justice League Dark, where they have to the Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman can't solve everything, so they need some magic help. So they go look for Madame Xanadu, Deadman, Etrigan the Demon, Swamp Thing, Constantine, the Enchantress from the Suicide Squad. That was a bizarre one for me because Enchantress has never been a Suicide Squad member. No, that's not true. She has been, like, she was on the original team very, very briefly, but she's been associated in the last several years with the Justice League Dark. So that was kind of like, oh, that's right. She was once a Suicide Squad member. Not that version.
That one time.
But she also looked like a Salem witch, but it was all green instead of black. That was her
change it up.
Yeah, they had to change it up, but now she's a tattoo swamp witch.
Tattoo swamp witch. That sounds
That sounds
great.
I mean, that sounds reasonable to Salem to me.
Yeah. What did you say Wednesday?
Oh, that was a great description.
That's basically what it is. And hey, man, I give a lot of credit for women I see wearing that costume at conventions because just like the Princess Leia costume, you brave.
Yeah.
You brave. That's just a bikini.
Yeah.
And there's some terrible people at cons sometimes. So, man, you are awesome.
Truth.
I love the one. There was a battalion. There was like 4 or 5 stormtroopers or whatever with their guns around a Princess Leia with like shackles on, and the shackles were tied to her neck in the slave girl outfit.
That's fantastic.
That was her escort.
Well, that sounds smart to me to have somebody to block the general public.
Oh yeah, the stormtroopers who can't hit the broadside of a barn. The broadside of a barn came up to them.
They can hit anyone in a red shirt, maybe.
I don't think there anyone wearing a red shirt.
Amber, you're crossing the streams.
I know. That was the joke.
Crossing the streams. Did you guys see Ghostbusters?
I have not.
Yes, and I
Good.
liked it.
Good.
I
I have
liked
a
it.
friend
What?
who actually worked on
I
it.
know.
What?
Okay. I liked it a lot. Just because women are in a role doesn't mean.
Whoa! Who went there? She did. I didn't even say anything.
I think
All right.
it's good. The only thing I
Here's the
didn't
two
like
biggest
about it-
problems I have with
All right,
Ghostbusters.
I'll
Okay.
tell you mine if you.
All right, here are the two biggest problems I have with Ghostbusters. One, for a movie that tries to promote we're all about gender equality, when you have the men being the dumbest freaking characters on
Okay,
the
the
planet.
women are always the dumbest freaking
Hold
characters.
on,
You
I'm
know
not talking.
what? Payback.
Hold on.
Take
I'm not
it.
talking about other women. I'm not talking about other movies. That movie should have been like The Force Awakens, okay, where like they segue in with the old into the new. Like none of those cameo appearances were of any
it was
brilliance.
a
It was
total
stupid as
reboot.
hell.
It wasn't supposed to be.
And that's why it failed. They're never getting a sequel.
I love how
Second
men are
thing.
offended that they made the man dumb in that movie, when women are not supposed to be offended that they.
Janine was
literally
not dumb
already
in
made them.
Ghostbusters. She was brilliant.
Yeah, she's an exception to the rule.
The other thing is like I don't understand. I hated Melissa Kim McCarthy's character for one big reason. Is like, okay, if we are trying to stop doing tropes of women where it's about their body and things like that, why the hell is the fat girl in the Ghostbusters movie the one who has to eat all the time and has the Chinese restaurant like asphyxiation and like that's her whole thing every 5 minutes? Like, where's my food? Where's my food?
That is so not true.
That was the whole thing with that movie,
yes,
and
they
they got her
upstairs
the.
above a Chinese food place, and she knew the delivery guy or whatever.
It's
And they
just-
literally sat around, and all of them ate pizzas together, and they had a normal conversation and ate food, and no one judged anybody else, and nobody made a fat joke, and they just ate like normal people. So, from a perspective of a larger woman, I enjoyed that movie. I thought it was speaking for me personally. The only thing I didn't like about Ghostbusters movies, there was always this like crowd of people on the street, and they were all cheering the Ghostbusters on, and they were outside a building that's like falling down.
Blame Boston casting for that.
Yeah, so,
Boston
like-
casting went overboard with like, okay, we're gonna have a big like, whoa, but of course all they show is their feet, and everyone's like, oh my god, I'm in Ghostbusters. Where the hell am I?
Yeah.
Oh wait, am I on the deleted scenes? No, I just got the memo. I'm not in the movie except for my feet, and it's like, what the hell? A lot of
I
the
feel
casting
like
people,
at the end,
extras.
when they're fighting the big baddie, and everyone is just like frozen.
Oh, the
and-
big bad was awful
Yeah,
too.
that was pretty bad. And everyone is just frozen on the street, and there are no like, they're just like the cops and stuff that are frozen on the street. There are no like throngs of people, like Ghostbusters, like there were in the other Ghostbusters movies. I miss that.
I'm not saying Gozer was like the biggest thing in the world because let's face it, she shows up, she stands there, she zaps him once, and she disappears, and she has a voiceover introducing the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. But the build up to her being like this, like, but she's also a god, so gods are really kind of like more like I say what I'm gonna do more than I'm gonna do.
Somebody else does it.
Yeah, that internet troll guy, was that supposed to be like was that a rewrite in the script at the last minute? Be like, oh, we're gonna make fun of the people attacking us by putting them in the movie as the villain. Get it? That's who the bellhop is, and I'm like. And then I love the girl sitting next to me with her girlfriend. They were a couple who went to go see it. They had just gotten married, and they were like, they were about to go to our honeymoon because they were telling me about it afterwards because I was interviewing for the show. And I was like, oh, that's so adorable. But we want to go see Ghostbusters, and we hate this movie. I was like, what's the biggest thing you hated about this movie? So do you remember the scene in the original where Dan Aykroyd's getting the blowjob from the sexy female ghost? Where was the sexy, like, male ghost performing on the girls?
Yeah, seriously. That would
Come
be so
on!
terrible.
I was like, was that your biggest beef? No, but I think that if one should be in the other, tit for
Right.
tat.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm talking about the dumb guy in the movie. Like, tit for tat, that has been in, like, maybe you're saying not in Ghostbusters, but, like, in every other movie ever, all the women's always like, help me, please, oh no, good, whatever, you know? And in this one, the guy could be stupid and get possessed and ruin everything because he's dumb.
Why do you think they had to recreate the exact plot line from the original? I know they had to do the whole startup business thing,
Yeah.
but how about out of all the mythology, out of all the monsters on the planet Earth and in other dimensions going to like H.P. Lovecraft stuff, which nobody ever puts into anything, why couldn't they come up with something else to be like, oh, it's this thing from this country of origin and they need this artifact to do the thing to stop it, not just the hole in the sky like Fantastic Four and every other movie like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, you know, so on and
If
so
you want
forth.
them to run around the world and get an artifact to stop something, you should be watching Indiana Jones. You're looking for the wrong movie.
For anyone who is not happy with the last Ghostbusters or Ghostbusters 2 and has never seen it, go watch the real Ghostbusters, the animated series. It's awesome. Now there's a Ghostbuster cartoon happening some point, but now with the movie not being a success, who knows how long this will last, because this was in production while the other film was in marketing mode. And like many films like Tron, Green Lantern, the snail racing movie, whatever that stupid thing was.
Snail racing movie?
Yeah, there was a snail racing movie. I don't even remember the name of it. It's a snail
like a children's movie, I assume.
Yeah.
Yes, he got toxic waste, and he was able to.
I vaguely remember seeing.
He gets into NASCAR.
Yeah.
Okay, so all these animated series are being made while the film they're based on is in a marketing production, which just means their trailers are coming out, and they put out one season because the movie is a epic failure at the box office. Now, despite how much I hate the new Ghostbusters, I was kind of looking forward to a new Ghostbuster cartoon because it was going to be based on Dan Aykroyd's original script idea. Yeah. Ghostbusters in the future, they franchised out. It's all over the world.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, have you seen the?
But with the movie a failure, will that last?
Have you seen on Netflix? And I don't remember what it's called, but there's a Ghostbusters like fanboy documentary.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that yet either.
One of our former guests, Evelyn 13, she's a cosplay model, does an amazing Vampirella.
I love it.
Yeah, Evil. Yeah, we actually have another cosplayer coming on who does an amazing Evil Lynn.
Amazing.
I know. Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. Ghost. What is it called? It's on Netflix.
Yeah,
it's on Netflix too.
I thought it was interesting because their concept for cosplay within those groups is that they are franchises of Ghostbusters all over the world, and each one of them has their own like little logo and little team stuff that they do.
Yeah, like Ghostbusters 911, which was the parody YouTube show. Ernie Hudson was in a couple episodes. It stars the female on the team was my friend Sarah French, she otherwise known as Scarlett Salem. She's a kind of a horror fetish model, horror actress, B-movie screen queen kind of stuff. She dates a guy named Joe Netter. Great, funny guy. Does a podcast with one of the creators of DreadCentral.com. One of his most famous books is Zombie Bukkake. I'm not going to describe it.
You would like Jeff O'Brien, probably.
Yeah, you can go look it up. It's a lot of fun to read, but just keep an open mind. The guy is also one of the nicest people ever meet. This is what I want.
It might have been
just pick this up.
Red.
A good old.
Oh my God! I love that movie. That is such a good movie. The Ghost and Mr. Chicken.
Have you ever seen this movie, Wednesday?
Oh my God, you would love that.
That looks intriguing.
That is right up your alley.
Go to Walmart Wednesday, $5. They have a ton of the classic horror movies now out, of course, being Halloween. But they have The Ghost and Mr. Chicken, a great horror comedy starring the late great Don Knotts.
You would like that. I would watch that.
It's a fun movie.
Our next horror movie night. The Ghost and Mr.
Call me. You know what you should also show? Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Oh my God, great! I've seen that, and I like that.
My friend Dan Kimmel,
like
when he taught a film class, every year his film class, he was a professor at a university for film for like 10 years. Every year he'd start his class with that because it'd start in September. And the semester would go until the end of, middle of November. Mm-hmm. So he was just like, every single year for 10 years, it was Abbott Costello Meets Frankenstein. This is what film class is about. And I was like, I would fail that class just to retake it every year. Just to watch it again, yeah. Girls, give out what's happening again next Friday, where they can buy your book, what they can do, how they can just bask in the glory of awesomeness that is FunDead Publications.
Well, first off, we have FunDeadPublications.com. So there's that. There's also a shop attached to that, so you can buy the book directly from us, but you can also get it on Amazon. In Salem, you can go to Wicked Good Books. They have it in stock there now. And we also have it available for Kindle and Nook. And then next Friday, we're having our official book launch party at Black Veil Tattoo in Beverly.
Yeah!
Which we're really excited about. It's going to be super spooky.
Are you guys going to set up at Rock and Chalk?
No,
okay.
Not this year, probably next year, because we should have more material by then.
You guys should come back to the studio next year when you have more material, too, before Rock and Chalk.
We will hopefully have a Christmas anthology before Christmas.
Oh, there you go.
Year, yeah.
And then you can come
we have
in.
New Orleans coming up.
Oh, okay. And then you can come in and sing Christmas carols.
I'm sure there's got to be a creepy one out there somewhere.
We can borrow some of the Krampi or whatever we decided.
The Krampi?
The plural of Krampus was from Krampus.
Yes.
So in Salem, they have a Krampus evening.
Krampus knocked.
Krampus. I had a great idea for Krampus. It was supposed to be Krampus on a shelf, and it was going to be like a parody.
Elf on the Shelf?
And we were going to say it was a parody of Elf on the Shelf because we were going to blatantly rip that book off.
Yeah.
But change a bunch of stuff and put in little small print. A parody of Elf on the Shelf. So fuck off. off. We're protected by and we were actually going to put a parody up on the shelf, so fuck off, and then put the case that allows parodies to be that thing.
Weird Al's got your back, baby.
Yeah, bitches. And then I was going to like get together with a toy designer I know, and we were going to like come up like, what's our Krampus going to look like?
Amazing.
And then maybe we'd have like pieces of like Elf like ripped apart next to
His legs sticking out of a sack. Yep.
Awesome. Well,
we have a couple friends that do the Krampus knock thing and dress up as Krampus.
Oh yeah,
borrow them.
it gets real crazy up in Salem. But I mean, anytime we have an opportunity to dress up, like they just started doing a masquerade ball in the winter too, and that also
cool.
gets crazy. This year it's the night circus is the theme.
I saw that I don't know where you can buy it, but there's an animatronic of like a Krampus pulling a child up out of a fake chimney or whatever, and a lot of people have had like problems with it because the guy set it up in like September to get ready. He's just like, this is kind of a year. This is like September to January holiday.
That's Halloween appropriate and Christmas appropriate.
Yeah, like people called the police. The police like just drove by. They didn't get out of their cars and they're like, what are we? What is that?
What's happening here?
Is there nobody getting murdered in the town that we should be rescuing? Right. This is what we're wasting our taxpayers' dollars on. An animatronic that offends people.
I mean, I wouldn't call that a waste of money.
No, but I get what
not a waste of money.
I'm on the side of the police being like, there's somebody dying right now. We are missing out on it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, thank you girls so much for coming in. I hope you guys had a great time.
We did. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.